Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, October 21st, 2024 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I take time to lean into peace because my peace is valuable. Here we are. We are wrapping up our last day and a half plus of Sun in Libra. On Tuesday at 3:15 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to have the Sun moving into Scorpio. And more than ever, one of my reminders for the end of the month is always that, we build our foundation upon, the previous sign. So to move into Scorpio with as much grace as possible, we really want to have a great foundation of Libra and, and so on, right? All the way through. And so this foundation of peace is feeling very potent as we move towards Scorpio season, as we move towards Election Day, which is sure to be, and as we move to one of our final Sun in Libra transits, which is a square with Pluto, which is its last square with Pluto. This is the last time in our lifetime the Sun in Libra is going to square Pluto. And so it's got a little oomph to it because the universe is like, do you know how to stay in your equilibrium? Can you stay in balance? Do you know how valuable your peace is, even when the Plutonic colonic is moving through you? So here we go. Can you value your peace and take time to lean into it? That is the question of the cosmos. Let's see. Let's see how we go, how it goes, right? So today we have a little bit going on. We are finishing up the yachtiness. So through the weekend, we had the yacht pointing at Sun in Libra, being like, hey, keep returning to balance. Hey, your peace is important. Even as we move through potential triggers with Uranus energy, Neptune in Pisces is like Pandora's box, so to speak. Is it going to be a blessing? Is it going to be a challenge, right? Who knows? Who knows what from the past it's going to bring up? Usually what you need to work through and work on is what's going to come up. So we had those planets feeding into this yod. So we still have that going. It's not exact, but it's still pointing a little bit at the Sun, being like, inner peace, find your balance, work on your relationship with yourself, work on your relationship with the cosmos. This is where security and foundational energies can be found. Today we have the moon in Gemini, which has been just stirring up the stuff. Moon in Gemini is going to be finishing up, moving into Cancer, but that's not till later in the afternoon. So we start the day with the moon and Jupiter hanging out together in Gemini. This is 12:25 a.m. Pacific time, so you may find waking up from sleep to chattiness of the brain being like, hey, what do you think about this? Some random obscure thing that you're like, I must look at the internet now. You don't have to look at the internet, but that's oftentimes if I don't shut it up, it's gonna keep going, right? So we have that transit going. We then have the moon a little bit later connecting to Neptune, a square with Neptune. And this is always interesting. Anytime we have the mutable signs squaring, it's like two sources of information that feel a little contrary, that feel like they differ. Now, a lot of times they both bring something important. Gemini brings attention in the now, and Neptune and Pisces brings something long held. There's a way that we can work through these things. A lot of times when we have a square, we're trying to get to the same point. We just have different ways of going towards it. So see if you can find acceptance in and through these energies. The Sun and the Moon trine today loves that, right? It loves how can we find this acceptance point? So we have the Sun in Libra, Moon hanging out in Gemini before it shifts into Cancer. This is just easygoing, fun conversation kind of energy. So hopefully there is a time to have that just like lights you up. You know, the people that you talk to, like, that is my person. That person gets me. The people who are not committed to misunderstanding you. Because there's the people out there who are like, doesn't matter what you say, they want to argue. And then there's the people who are like, let me try to understand you. Like, what are you saying? Have you seen it this way? And you can just have that glorious little connection. Now, Moon into Cancer is prep for this Sun-Pluto square. That Sun-Pluto square is going to be happening early-ish on Tuesday morning, 7:15 a.m. Tuesday morning. Moon in Cancer is going to be bringing the emotional energy, but it's also nurturing. So this really could go multiple ways. And here's the thing, like, you don't have to be zen all the time. We are emotional beings. It's okay to be emotional. And even as you're, like, working on your zen, you also don't have to be static. You don't have to sit there and, like, om. Sometimes you need to dance your way through it. You got to dance your way through the feels. So the Moon in Cancer may be bringing up some feels. These might be showing you some feels that knock you off your balance, right? Moon in Cancer brings the emotions, and that's okay. So just be aware. You might feel some emotional tides coming through. We also have Mercury later in the evening. Mercury and Scorpio connecting to Saturn and Pisces. So there might be something that you feel like you really need to dig into. Mercury is hanging out at 11 degrees Scorpio today, so there is some mastery. This may be some mental boundaries. This may be some boundaries in your communication. But also it's being aware of the power of your word, the power of your thoughts. So keep that in mind with Mercury hanging out at 11, and especially as it connects to Saturn, there's some layer of responsibility around whether it's your mind, your words, your communication. So be listening in and through that connection. Cards are really interesting. Like I said, inner peace isn't always static. Hard times require furious dancing. We get by with a little help for our friends. And by the way, you should be dancing. This card says all of those things. And it's smack dab in the center of the cards today. So I'm going to listen to that. Speaking of listening, we have the inner voice. So Spirit, God, Universe is talking to you. So listen. Be in that alignment. I feel like these cards are kind of like heralding what is, but what is coming. I know a lot of people are putting out predictions around what's going to happen with the election. I think it's going to be pretty crazy. That's the prediction I'm leaving. I don't want to predict one way or another because I think timelines are still unfolding. But, you know, with Pluto at this final degree of Capricorn, which rules government, I just think it's going to be a little bit of a ride. And there's some change involved in this, and there will be fighting amongst. We do not necessarily have to contribute to that energy, you know? But it's like, be aware of it. I think it's going to be like kind of ramping up as we go, right? Again, finding our own zen, working through our own things, listening to where you are called to speak and where you're called to be like, not gonna give pearls to swine, to quote my friend Nikki, right? To see where we can stay in the friendliness, right? Like, we are all here together doing our best. How can we stay in this friendliness? But watch for these energies, the change. And I think especially as we're building to this Sun-Pluto, there's going to be some power plays and control maneuverings that don't necessarily feel good. And yeah, stand up in that. But mostly guard, like, your life force. Guard your peace. Guard your connection to divine source, right? Help me know that all my deepest needs will be met. Let me trust that you have a plan and the right actions will come. You are my source for all. So, leaving that there. Good luck to us all over the next few weeks. But inner peace. Inner peace. This is where the foundation starts, and your inner peace does ripple out and make a difference. So you can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. And the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and remember who you are, for you are the solution. Namaste.